everyone, it's Tone back again with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about one of the books on my Christmas reading list called Graceling by Kirsten, Cashore. So Graceling is a young adult fantasy romance set in an alternate world, and it follows the life of a young lady called Katza. So as per usual, I'm going to read you a little bit about the plot, then I'm going to tell you 3 things I liked about the book, 3 things I didn't like, if anything, and my top 3 favorite characters. So here we go. Katza has been able to kill a man with her bare hands since she was 8. She's a Graceling, one of the rare people in her land born with an extreme skill. As niece of the king, she should be able to live a life of privilege, but graced as she is with killing, she is forced to work for the king as his thug. She never expects to fall in love with the beautiful Prince Po. She never expects to learn the truth behind her grace, or the terrible secret that lies far hidden away. A secret that could destroy all 7 kingdoms with words alone. So this is an amazing tale. Again, Katza is a strong female protagonist, and she discovers that she has this talent of killing basically because one day at court, her cousin, who was like this kind of smarmy, disgusting pervert, tries to feel her up as a child, and in order to protect herself, she kind of lashes out, and in lashing out, she accidentally kills him. So this kind of makes her feared in the court, and then also makes the king realize that actually she has a skill that he could utilize and take advantage of and exert a rule of fear in his kingdom by using Katza as his enforcer, so to speak. So the king, whose name is Randa, then puts Katza into training, and the kind of training that could basically enhance her killing skills. So she learns how to do martial arts, sword play, that kind of stuff, makes her into like the perfect killer. And then when she becomes older, around as a teenager, then he sends her off into the lands to basically enforce his laws. So anybody who's found wanting or doing things that the king doesn't like, Katza is sent out to deal with this person. But as Katza gets older, she starts to look at the world around her and decides that basically she can do good. There's a sense of lawlessness and injustice that she sees in the land, and she decides to set up this council that basically tries to take care of people who are not able to take care of themselves. And then she gains allies in the land because people see her for doing good. And well, not just in her land, but across all 7 kingdoms. So while she's engaging on the work of the council to try and rescue the grandfather of a monarch, she basically ends up coming across the grandson of this grandfather Tea Leaf, which is a very funny sounding name. But yeah, so the grandfather of the monarch who's been kidnapped, his name is Grandfather Tea Leaf, and as she's going to rescue him, she comes across his grandson, who is Prince Po. But Prince Po is also a Graceling, but he comes from this land called Leonard. And in Leonard, Gracelings are revered. They're treated with respect. They're not used as a tool. And Prince Po seems to have a similar grace to Katza, and she develops a friendship with him, and they end up being training partners together. He realizes that she's actually not just a brainless thug, but she's a very empathetic kind of character, and they basically fall in love with each other. And they fall in love with each other whilst trying to discover why Grandfather Tea Leaf was kidnapped in the first place, and in trying to uncover the mystery as to who would take him and why, they come across a big secret that is being kept by one of the kings in the 7 kingdom, and they basically have to work very hard to overthrow this king. This is a wonderful tale of adventure. The description of the different lands, of what Leonard looks like, what the Midlands where Katza comes from looks like, what the eastern part and the western part looks like, and the different kings that rule within the kingdom. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing the job that Kirsten Cashore does, and I can't fault her because I have been looking forward to reading this book for such a long time, and it just didn't disappoint. Who are my favorite characters? I really liked Katza, the female protagonist in this. She was very strong. I like the fact that the author didn't compromise Katza's character. So even though it's a romance and you kind of think she's going to compromise herself for love, she never actually does. And I really respect that the author stayed true to the character in this way. I thought that was brilliantly done. And I really liked the complex nature of Katza. The fact that she is so powerful, but is also being kept under the thumb of this king that doesn't have an ounce of the amount of power that she has. And it just speaks to like the psychological damage that can be done to a human being, that somehow it doesn't matter how much physical power you have, if you're not psychologically strong, somebody can basically dominate you psychologically if you don't know any better. And that is really, really well described in the book. I liked Prince Po. He was just such a nice character, and he was like a stereotypical Prince Charming, but there was something very endearing about Prince Po that I absolutely enjoyed. I really, really liked him. Who else did I like? I liked Princess Bitter Blue, and I like the fact that even though she was a 10-year-old child, she often behaved like a grown-up, and the circumstances that Bitter Blue was in would force a child to grow up very, very quickly, and the world they lived in would force a child to grow up very, very quickly, and her experiences will force a child to grow up very, very quickly, and that translated really, really well on the page. So I absolutely loved Princess Bitter Blue, to the extent that I was very, very happy to hear that she has a book dedicated to herself in the series as well. So those are my top 3 characters, Katza, Prince Po, and Bitter Blue. I mean, I also liked other characters. I like Prince Po's father. I like Grandfather Tea Leaf. I like Katza's cousin, Prince Raffin. I thought he was a very, very good character, and I would have liked his character to have been developed a little bit more. But the direction the book took didn't allow the opportunity for that to happen. But nonetheless, I still thought he was a very good character. The only thing I didn't like about the book was that at some point I kind of felt like it was dragging on a little bit. But I think it's because I've read so many books of a similar vein that I was just kind of expecting certain parts of the book to be a lot more fast paced. And they spent an awful amount of time in the forest, trying to get to King Lex's kingdom, and that could have been cut short a little bit more for me. Another thing that I thought could have been done better was that King Lex's character could have been developed a lot earlier on in the book. I can understand why it was difficult for them to do so because of the plot. But King Lex was such a complicated character that I would have liked to have seen a lot more of his direct manipulation within the book. So that I felt could have been done a little bit better, because he was very dark, but I felt like we learned about his darkness from other characters rather than seeing him in action by himself doing those dark deeds, and we didn't really get to see that until further on in the book. So I felt that could have been done a little bit better, but notwithstanding, I thought it was an absolutely wonderful book, and I just really, really enjoyed it. This book was a book that was recommended by one of my favorite authors, Trudy Carnarvon, on her website, as one of the books that she read that she really enjoyed in the YA fantasy female-led protagonist kind of realm, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I would give this book a 3.5. I want to give it a 3.7, but I just can't bring myself to do that. So I would give it a 3.5 out of 5 because it was an enjoyable read. It didn't disappoint me, and I'm so glad that it was on my Christmas reading list, and I would highly, highly recommend it. But the only thing is that I don't know if I would necessarily read the other books in the series. I think I might read Bitter Blue just because it's about Princess Bitter Blue and I really liked her character. But the second book in the series is called Fire, and I'd read the synopsis of that and I didn't feel like it moved me or compelled me enough to read it. But I am somebody that once I commit to a series, I do commit, and I'm not sure I commit to the entire series, but I thought Graceling as a standalone book was absolutely outstanding. So let me know your thoughts. Please leave some comments down below. Did you enjoy it? Are you going to pick it up? If you've read it, who are your favorite characters? And also please like, share and subscribe. Until next time, bye.